Okay, well, welcome to the Mrs. R Relevant Daily Draft Podcast, the Summer Scouting Edition. I am here with Durst, and Durst, it's been, 2 months maybe since we've seen each other on a podcast, it feels like. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you. It's not quite summer, but we're deep into the summer scouting already.
Yeah, so Durst and I are hanging out here. It is in the middle of May, and you want to cover some running backs that you've watched and liked?
Absolutely. So excited to finally be talking about the 2026 class. I did actually start the 2026 class around January when I started looking at some of the quarterbacks that decided to return to school, and which ones were just didn't have the eligibility or to go into the draft. And I've now been through about maybe 6 or so of the different position groups, creating top 10 lists and top 5 lists. But I think my two running backs for this class is going to seem like very familiar names to a lot of people. It's Nicholas Singleton and then Jeremiah Love are my two favorite running backs of this class. They each are extremely explosive. They both have good size for the position. I've heard some people say that Jeremiah Love. I've heard a CJ Spiller comp at one point in time. I think that was Thor Nystrom that shouted that one out. I actually think he's a little bit more physical at times than CJ Spiller was, but they both are extremely explosive. So Nicholas Singleton, I'm doing a point based system this year. So it's in previous years I only did it for my wide receiver and tight end class, and now every position group I'm trying to do some point based systems. So with Singleton, he actually finished number 1 in my scoring system, but also like Jeremiah Love. So with Singleton, I say he's a tantalizing blend of size, power, contact balance, has great straight line speed. He's said to run at 4.39 seconds, really good acceleration. I expect his weight adjusted speed score to be out of this world because he's got a lot more size to him than a lot of the prospects this year. So he has flashed a good soft hands and the ability to run some routes in the passing game. He's made a lot of improvements as a blocker over the last few years. Penn State is a lot of things where they run some two backs, and they actually ask their running backs to do a little bit more run blocking than most teams do. Same thing with Notre Dame. So on to Jeremiah Love. I have him as another burst acceleration, long speed guy. He won the state title in the 100 meters at 10.76 seconds back in high school. At his core, Love is a speed back, but he's got enough jump cuts, spins, hurdles in his game to not be just a one-trick pony. He also could be really effective in the passing game. He caught 87.5% of his career targets with only 3 drops in his entire career, lining both in the slot and occasionally out wide. Notre Dame did a lot of quarterback power, so that he's got a lot of experience than being as a run blocker than most running backs are, because Riley Leonard, they did a lot of running, a lot of quarterback power in that offense. Although I do expect that may change this year. Then we get on to Jamarian Miller is my favorite of the former Alabama running backs, because the other guy transferred to Michigan, and it's close between those two guys. But I like Jamarian, sometimes called Jam Miller, a little bit better. So he's got good size and frame, good vision and patience. He's able to string some moves together with explosive lateral cuts. He's got really good pad level, runs with a good forward lean. He's got soft hands, and he routinely beats defenses on wheel routes. You see a bunch of wheel routes where he's able to beat the linebacker and some other defenders. He's got good contact balance, and he did some run blocking as well, because Jalen Milroe did a lot of quarterback running and the quarterback power. So it's kind of funny. These 3 running backs all, a little bit more run blockers than you would normally get from a typical tailback. Another guy I really like is C.J. Baxter. Now, C.J. Baxter, he missed the entire 2024 season. So let me make sure I got this injury written down right. But yeah, so he tore his LCL and his PCL in 2024. I think that was during the preseason. So I really liked his freshman year. He got 6 starts after. I just blocked out the guy that went to Carolina that he tore his ACL in
Brooks.
2023. So yeah, so then C.J. Baxter got 6 starts as a true freshman after that. So now C.J. Baxter, I mean, I'm pretty sure he got a red shirt year this year, so he's really only a red shirt freshman. So it might be a little bit premature to be talking to him about him. But I actually like him as my favorite running back since Cedric. I went back too far. Oh man, the Atlanta running back. I can't believe I just blacked out again.
Bijan Robinson.
Bijan Robinson. I think Cedric Benson was like 1984 or something like that. I just went the way back machine. So anyway, power, play strength, and leg drive, contact balance. Cedric Baxter's got really good power runner. He can grind out the difficult yards, wear out the defense. He's shown the ability to line up wide despite his size. He's about 230 pounds. And he can run a couple routes for a big guy. He's got 0 drops in his career, although his career is only 1 season so far. I think he's got the potential to be a workhorse, and if he comes back healthy, I actually think he could be a top 5 running back in this class. Although I think much like Manning, I think Arch Manning and him are probably going to be going back. But I kind of wanted to give him a shout out. I'm not too sure if any other people are really looking ahead to Baxter. I really like Jaden Ott. Speaking of a guy that missed a lot of last year, I think, hurt his. Let me see if I got this. Yeah, he broke his. Where's it at there? Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm being a bad pass. I guess I didn't have the injury actually listed in my notes here, but he missed most of last season. I think it was maybe the second or third game, and he was a shell of his former self. In the games that he did play. So Jay Knott is for the former California running back that's now transferred to Oklahoma. Sorry, but the first 3 guys I should have mentioned their names too, or their schools too. But Jaden Ott transferred along with seemingly everybody from California that was worth anything transferred this year. The quarterback transferred to Indiana. The tight end transferred to Texas. And Jaden Ott's a smaller guy. He kind of bulked up to about 205, but he was playing around like 195 back when he was healthy in 2023. A really good pass catcher. So his main thing is he's a satellite back with explosive in the open field, a threat to score from anywhere on the field. He projects best as an outside zone system and someone you want to get out in space. Catching the ball looks easy for him, and he could be his calling card in the pros. He does have potential as a kickoff returner with 3 career kickoff returns, including a 100-yard return against UCLA. Again, we're going all the way back to 2023. Per ESPN, he had 0 fumbles and only 3 drops in his career. Actually, I'm kind of interested in your opinion, but my comps for him were James Cook, which I know as a Buffalo fan you're pretty familiar with. And of course, when he was at Georgia, he was not really a workhorse back. He was more of a pass catching role, and he's kind of eased into a workhorse back with Buffalo. But Jaden Knott, I'd say he reminds me more of the Georgia version of James Cook versus the Buffalo version. Now, as a downside, I would probably say maybe more of a Will Shipley type of player. So a guy that can probably play all 4 downs. But again, maybe he's never going to be that workhorse. He doesn't have the power, the leg drive that you really want, kind of being a smaller back. Another guy I really like that may not end up being in this class would be Jaheim White. Jaheim White's from West Virginia University, and he's a true junior this year. And he's pretty small. So he's listed at 5'7", 190, which we all know that might be 5'6" and 185. So he may not be the flavor that every team is looking for, but as a change of pace back, he's He's got a lot of good vision and patience. He's very almost elite short area quickness and the ability to fit through the most narrow crease or crevice in the line of scrimmage. Very elusive once you get him into the open field. Keeps his legs driving through contact. He gets really effective on fly and jet sweeps and that type of thing. And although he's already got really good numbers in terms of the missed tackles force and explosive run percentage, I expect these numbers to go up. We got C.J. Donaldson, who's now transferred out and went to Ohio State. But we've added Rich Rodriguez. So, if any West Virginia fans, we were familiar with Rich Rodriguez from many years ago, but he's returned back to West Virginia, and he has a very productive running game. Let's just call it that. He was the coach back when Steve Slayton and those players were making some really good good production for West Virginia. So that's all I got for the running back position. I've watched about 10, but I just want to point out a few of the ones I'm excited about going into the 2025 college season and the 2026 draft.